Here's a beautiful exercise if you're studying trig, or even if you've mastered trig and you want a nice challenge. Tan of 1 degrees times tan of 2 degrees all the way up to tan of 89 degrees. We're going to explain this and some fun little trig along the way. So what we're going to do is, here everything's in degrees, not in radians, just to be clear. So the first step when you're trying to evaluate such a complicated product is just to kind of write out what tan is. If you're getting stuck, just try to write out what you see, and that might give you a boost. So we just take sine of 1 degree divided by cosine of 1 degree, right? That's what tan is, sine over cosine. Then we can multiply sine of 2 degrees divided by cosine of 2 degrees. Okay, and we can keep going with this. So of course we can keep going. It keeps on going up to sine of, we can write out the last two steps. You can write out sine of 88 degrees over cosine of 88 degrees. And we can then multiply with sine of 89 degrees divided by cosine of 89 degrees. Okay, so that's our first step that we have observed. That allows us to give us some sense of what we're trying to calculate, but this looks like a huge mess. Now, by the way, if you're excited for the solution, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. I do math across all levels and topics on my channel. It's all fun and free content, and I love helping people. So liking and subscribing really helps my mission of changing lives through math education. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw a right triangle. Okay, so a right triangle is going to be really fun. We're going to draw this nice little right triangle here. Theta degrees, hypotenuse is 1. What is cosine and sine? Cosine is the adjacent side, sine is the opposite side. Okay, so the adjacent side to the angle is cosine theta, and the opposite side is sine theta. Now the sum of the angles, so the right triangle, this is a right angle. The sum of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So this is 90 degrees, this is theta. So to add up to 180, these two angles have to add up to 90. So the other angle has to be 90 minus theta. And you'll see where we're going with this. Okay, so we've got 90 minus theta there. Now we're going to rotate the triangle by 90 degrees counterclockwise, or clockwise, okay, 90 degrees clockwise. So our triangle is now going to become this triangle, okay, and just check that you can visualize it. Our cosine is now going to be our vertical side, okay, so we're going to get cosine theta here, hypotenuse is 1, and now we're going to get, our cosine theta was adjacent to theta, right? So this is going to be theta, this is going to be 90 minus theta, and this is going to be sine of theta. But now remember that cosine of 90 minus theta is the adjacent side. So sine of theta is actually cosine of 90 minus theta. And similarly, cosine of theta is equal to sine of 90 minus theta. It's the opposite side to 90 minus theta. And this is very crucial, and you're going to love this, it's going to blow your mind at the end, okay? So now we're going to write out this in terms of sines, just to kind of make everything common, okay? So sine of 1 over cosine 1. Okay, it's going to be sine of 1, or cosine 1 is sine of 90 minus 1, which is going to be sine of 89. So we're going to get sine 1 by sine of 89. Then we're going to get sine of 2 divided by cosine of 2 is sine of 88. So it's going to be sine of 88. And then we're going to keep going. We're going to get sine of 88 divided by sine of 2. And then we're going to get, so we're going to keep going, going to get sine of 2. And then we're going to get sine of 89 divided by sine of 1. Okay, so sine of 89 divided by sine of 1 degrees. So that's going to be our product. So now you observe something really cool. Everything's in degrees. You observe something really cool, that the sine of 1 cancels with the sine of 1. The sine of 89 cancels with the sine of 89. The sine of 2 cancels with the sine of 2. Everything cancels, or does it? There's one thing to keep in mind here, and I'm going to actually write it down. The thing to keep in mind is the middle term. So the terms tan 1 up to tan of 44 will cancel off with tan 46 up to tan of 89, but tan 45, the very middle term, will remain, and tan 45 is of course equal to sine of 45 over cosine of 45. Now even if you think you just know what this is, here's a quick fun refresher, because we're just doing everything from first principles. I just love doing math very elegantly from first principles. Is we have a right triangle where the angles are 45 degrees. They have to add up to 90. So if one angle is 45, the other is 45 too. Here you have 90 degrees, a right triangle, hypotenuse is 1, then it's an isosceles triangle, because these two angles are equal, this side and this side are equal, and this side is of course cosine 45, and this side is of course sine of 45. Of course, you also know, because of what we just said earlier, sine of 90 minus theta is cosine theta, so sine 45 is cosine 45. So this is just going to equal to 1. So our end product is just equal to 1. How cool is that? Very beautiful trig. Even if you're advanced and you understand this, just a nice, lovely little problem to give to your students, give to people who are learning trig. And I've got two fun videos for you. The first video, you're really going to love this video. It's a rigorous proof that every number is interesting. I'm a professional mathematician. I'll give you a proof. Watertight argument. Check it out. It's going to pop on the screen. You're going to love it. And the second one, here's a fun little challenge for you. X plus y plus xy is 186. X and y are positive integers. Find xy and x plus y. Gonna love that video. Check it out here. Huge thank you so much to Alex, Nathan, and Stephan for ongoing support on Patreon, and Aman, Rob, Shabeed, and Bernard for ongoing support as YouTube channel members. Makes a huge world of difference. If you want to support, check out the link in the description. Hope you have an amazing day and catch you in either of those two videos.